Today is February 13, 2017. The time is 5:30 p.m. This is the meeting of the Paris City Council. I'm going to call the meeting to order. We will start with invocation by Reverend Slaughter, followed by Pledge of Allegiance by Mr. Lancaster. If I can have everyone please stand.
Let's bow our heads. Father God, we come this afternoon, this evening, Lord God, to first and foremost say thank you, Lord, for this glorious day that has been far spent. We thank the Father of our Heavenly Father that He has allowed us to see another day, that we have seen this day and we have lived this far through this day because of His grace and mercy. Lord God, we come standing before you, Lord, asking prayers for these, our leaders of our community, those tonight that will be involved in this open agenda, this open city council meeting to discuss and debate, to agree and even maybe to disagree, but to have a disagreement of love, that we might not fall out, but we might build up one another in our differences. God, we know that you made each and every one of us different. We have different qualities and different desires and different characters, Lord God, but we all still have your DNA, and Lord God, that is the DNA of togetherness, of unity and love for one another. You said in your word, the greatest commandment is that we would love our brothers as you have loved us, love each other as we love ourselves. So God, tonight I pray a blessing, a special prayer, Lord God, that love would reign over all things. You said in your word that love conquers all things, covers a multitude of things. So God, tonight let us be mindful of this commandment. And Lord God, now touch the hearts and the minds of these who rule our city, who govern our government, who stand watch over our community. Lord God, touch them right now, that it be pleasing unto your sight, that all things will be done decent and in order. It is this prayer that I pray in your Son Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item on the agenda is the Citizens Forum. Persons desiring to address the council must limit their presentation to no more than 2 minutes. Unless an item is posted on the agenda, the Texas Open Meetings Act prohibits the council from responding to any comments other than to refer the matter to a future agenda, to an existing policy, or to a staff person with specific factual information. Claims against the city, council member, or employees, as well as individual personnel appeals, are not appropriate for the Citizens Forum. The Citizens Forum is now open. If you want to address the council, please come forward, write your name and address for the record.
My name is Mark Rothfuss. My address is 2810 Willow Bend, Paris, Texas. I'm the range manager for Archers of Christ. Sounds like we have some controversy over access in Lake Crook.
Can you please speak in the mic a little closer?
How about that? Is that better?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'd like to give this to the city attorney. This some pictures I took around Lake Crook yesterday. Most of the day, looking at our signage, making sure that we had everything in order. Also went through our lease to make sure that we have everything in order there also. Around Lake Crook, there's a lot of fencing, there's a lot of signage. We're only missing about 3 signs, and I'm mainly responsible for keeping most of that up. This fall, or this summer, I had knee surgery, so I neglected to get some of it repaired. But as you'll see by the pictures, 1499, the dam gate, 19th Street gate, everything's there in that book, and you can share it down the line. I also took the time to stand back and take a look at what is out there. There is an old sign on one tree that people haven't torn down. Most of them they've damaged. is back in 2005 and 6 that tells everybody that for only 3 months of the year, we have that area closed for hunting. And the reason we do it that way is our liability insurance only covers members. Anybody can come to Archers for Christ, become a member, shoot 3 shoots, which that allows us to see their capabilities, and we can deny them an access permit or a pass to do anything out there. They not only can deer hunt, they can have a picnic, they can fish, whatever they do with that pass, as long as they don't violate any of our safety rules, they're welcome to do it. Public has it the rest of the time. We don't stop anybody. The only other time that we put up safety signs is when we're having our bi-weekly tournaments. We routinely draw 55, 60 shooters. I took the time to collect some of the stuff that had some issues with missing signs. These signs have been out there for years, and that's part of our lease agreement, which is to have the signage. This is what's left of one. Just got run over by a bulldozer. This is
Mr.
another one.
Rothfuss,
This
your,
isn't-
your 2 minutes is up, but I'll give you a little bit leeway so that you can finish your
Okay. This one was right there by it. It has my phone number on it. Every sign out there has a contact number. If anybody has a problem, all they got to do is look at these signs. Charles Jones has one side of the lake. I have the other. They're both cell phone numbers. Anybody wants to call me, 903-905-1355. It's a matter of record. All the signs that we put up, I didn't bring the signs because it just weighs too much, but there's the kind of signs that we have out there. Everything notifying the public what's dangerous, where you can go, where you can't cross firing line,
Mr. Rothfuss,
that stuff.
I'm going to stop.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
I appreciate your time.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mayor, you told me in your office that you would call me when I was
Actually,
gonna
you
be put
told
on
me
the
that you will
agenda.
call me when you're ready to present, but this item was not for that. This item is posted by the city manager. And it was published at the time, so if you have any complaints about it, it was still within the reasonable time. It is not posted with any short postings.
Okay. Well, the gentleman that just spoke to you, I don't know if he's ever been to the main entrance to the lake or not, because I have been going out there for probably 4 years, and there has never, ever been any kind of a sign out there. And here's photographs. This is the main entrance, and I don't know how many people here have gone out to Lake Crook, but I don't think you've gone into Lake Crook by going out to Farm Road 32-500. You probably go out to the water plant and go in the entrance there. That's the main entrance. I would think that 99% or something, that's the gate entrance, and here's where the road splits. And this is my son sitting over here with the hat on. When we were attacked by the game wardens, that they called on us, okay? We were out there riding our horses on city property, and the game wardens come out and give us a criminal trespassing ticket, a warning. But he jumped out of the bushes and underneath the big power lines that go there, says, "What are you people doing out here?" My son and I looked at each other, we said, "Well, we're riding our horses." He said, "Well, don't you know you're criminally trespassing?" "No." "Didn't you read the signs?" "No." "Well, why didn't you?" "There were no signs." We entered the lake at the main entrance, stopped at the first boat ramp, unloaded our horses, rode down what I think everyone calls Campbell Soup Road. We hit the Highline Wire, we rode down it to about 14th Street. And obviously, Archers for Christ, someone was out there, and they called the game wardens on us. And this, so anyway, but it's not about me and my son. Well, we're over it, all right? They can call us criminals if they want to, but I'm not a criminal. But the thing is, these guys have had the lake locked up, the largest lake and the largest city park in the state of Texas. They've had it locked up for, what, 20-something years? You just told me a while ago when I introduced myself to you. For 20-something years, they've had it locked up. Now, when is enough enough? I mean, now, isn't there a law against, is the sheriff or the city police here?
He is, but you please go ahead and address.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think there should be a law in Paris that you can't shoot a firearm in the city limits. Am I wrong? There is. These guys can go out there and shoot all they want to on the lake.
Okay,
On the
sir,
lake.
I'm not going to let the cross discussion start over here.
Okay,
Please
okay.
address,
Okay,
and if you want to say something, please say it at your time.
okay. So why can they go out there and shoot guns when someone here sitting downtown can't shoot a gun? You're still in the city limits, okay? I mean, it doesn't make sense. They have a dedicated area back there where their little compound is, and there's plenty of room back there for them to have their archery shoots. I've gone to 5 of the archery shoots since October, and there is about 30 people, maybe 40 people there. I asked the lady, I said, how many people that have signed into you to shoot are actually from Paris? She said, well, we've had 3 or 4. So it's people from Oklahoma, and I talked to a lot of these guys and ladies that were out there shooting. Well, I'm from Texarkana. Well, I'm from Beaumont. I'm from Hamilton, Texas. I mean, I'm from Oklahoma. It's all these out-of-town people that are coming in using our city park. It's not our citizens are going out there. It's all locked up. I mean, who wants to go out there and be arrested? Mr. Godwin said himself that he goes out there and with his wife, and they walk their dogs. And he said, I would be embarrassed and ashamed if I got a ticket out there.
I'm going to stop you. You exceeded your time, so thank you.
Thank you. May I say one other thing?
Go ahead.
Mr. Clifford,
Yes, sir.
you got a quote in the Paris paper recently about you wanted to expand your operation for the city or expand your support for the city because you were born and raised here and you want to do everything you can for the city.
Yes, sir.
This is a good time to do it, sir. Give the park back to the city. Will you please? Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, Council, my name is Bud Mackey. With the VFW, we have used Lake Crook for 2 different years. We've not really had a problem. I came to the city manager, the chief of police, and anyone else in the city. Also, along with Mark, who was with the Archers for Christ. The area that's in question mainly is coming off the park, down a power line, up to where 19th Street starts again, and then down the old 19th that the city cleared 2 years ago for a horse trail. There is no signs in that area. Now, there's signs over on the other roads, but in this area, on the park, down where 19th ends, there is no signs. What I'd like to request is this be put on the agenda for the next council meeting, so there is time for Mr. Harvey, myself, the Archers for Christ, to actually discuss with the council. What's on there today, we're not allowed to talk when you get to it. So I'd like to request that it be put on the agenda for the next council meeting so we can discuss Lake Crook. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lynn Rothfuss.
Can you come to the,
Oh, my bad. Lynn Rothfuss. I live at 2810 Willow Bend, and I'm the treasurer for the Archery Club. Mr. Harvey is incorrect in saying that the Archers for Christ are shooting guns The name is Archery. So if he's been walking to through the meetings or through the shoots we've been having, he's not seen a gun. Everything is archery. Little kids archery, grown-up archery. So I'm a little confused where he got that information from. And the chuck wagon, I'm sorry?
Ma'am, please, sir, you'll have to stop.
Now I lost my train of thought.
You were talking about
The
kids.
chuck wagon where they cleared that piece of the land, those two signs that my husband held up, I think that's where he got them from. They got run over by the bulldozers. And all the rest of the signs and the T-posts that I know were put up there are also gone. So there were some things that were perhaps not correct. But I would certainly agree with the gentleman about the chuck wagons. This probably needs to be gone into further. And that's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
If you want to say something again, you are more than welcome to.
Well, I would think that the Archers for Christ would have a copy of their contract with the city. And.
Sir, just a response to what you were going, let's,
Okay. Would anyone like to see a contract?
no, the city manager is going to discuss that with us later on.
Okay.
But if you were wanting to respond to the lady with something,
Okay.
with a short answer,
All right.
go ahead.
Yes, sir. On the shotgun deal, it says, well, I'll find the page here. It says, right here, it says, this is the districts there for the archery hunting, which totals up about 3,000 acres, I guess. It says, important, hunting with rifles and/or shotguns is prohibited on all lake property, with the exception of District Number 9, which is the lakes itself. Shotguns may be used only in District 9.
All right, thank you so much. You want to address the Citizens Forum?
Of course, I'm Cleon Drake with District 6, and I just wanted to personally say thank you to the City of Paris and to the Chamber of Commerce for representing our town so dearly at the annual Texas Campus Crime Stopper Conference that was held last week at the Civic Center. And I would like to publicly thank our EMS volunteers, reserves, Kirk Dickinson, Henry Blackman, Adam Blackman, and David Walton for being there the whole time for the first aid area. We could not have done it without the support of the city and the chamber. And we had nothing but good reviews about our city and about our facilities here in the city. And I just wanted to publicly say thank you to everyone.
Thank you.
Just so everybody's clear, there has never been a gun used by anybody on Archers for Christ. They are not allowed to have a gun. They are not allowed to carry a concealed weapon of any kind, even to defend themselves from wild hogs. If they are, their membership will be immediately revoked. There is no guns allowed, and it's clearly posted at the main gate. All you have to do is walk up there where our big sign is, and there's a sign right there that says no guns, foul language, or alcohol, and drugs. None of it. If anybody commits one of those offenses, you're gone. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rothfuss.
I'm Jim Montgomery. I live over at 1135 20th Street Northeast. I think this is an appropriate time to bring it up, but it's a flood zone behind my house and my neighbors. It's a 100-year-old flood zone. And Bill Arranger has worked with us, and he's a good man, but the funds are not there, he said, and there's not an easement, he said. We've got about 100 yards between us three neighbors that it's just dirt, and the water stays stagnated during the summertime, and mosquitoes is really bad. We put stuff out for them, but there's not an easement, they said, but there's a sewer line that runs through my property, my neighbors, and the other neighbors, and it's for all the new houses over there behind us. So somebody must have had an easement to put that sewer line through there. And I was just hoping y'all could discuss maybe in the future how we might get some kind of easement, or how could we get 100 yards of concrete, maybe 2 or 3 foot wide, that we could get this water to move on down. It goes all the way down to Martin Luther, but that's a situation there. And if you could figure out some solution or tell me which way to go to find a solution, I'd appreciate it. Thank
Mr.
you.
Montgomery, can you just give me the address one more time?
1135 20th Street Northeast. I'm about 100 yards from that ball whacker.
Okay.
And behind us is a 100-year-old. It's older than that now, because when I moved there, it was a 100-year-old flood zone. But
We'll try to go and take a look. We'll get back to you.
okay, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
If there's nobody else wanting to address the Citizens Forum, the Citizens Forum is now closed. We'll go to the next agenda item, which is the consent agenda. Any of the council members have any issues with them, without taking everybody's name for the sake of time? Anyone has a, yes, Ms. Lancaster.
I'd like clarification on number 15, which is the dive trailer. Is that, do we still have, if we give this to Sulphur Springs, do we still have a trailer?
We were gifted a new one from the county, Hopkins County. Hopkins County gave us a new one, so this is a surplus.
Okay, good. Just want to make sure we had one.
Absolutely.
No other questions? I'll take a motion.
Make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. Right, carries. Item number 17 is discuss and conduct a public hearing and act on an ordinance regarding the petition of Jerry and Linda Stevens for a change in zoning from a single-family dwelling district number 2, SF2, to a multifamily dwelling district number 2, MF2, on City Block 262, Lot 11A, located at 1160 Northeast 20th Street. Somebody wants to talk about it first?
I will. Mr.
Yeah.
Heffersy's got a medical procedure, so I'm going to
Okay.
substitute in for him. This is pretty simple as far as knowledge. You approved about 12 acres last month. This is another little piece that's contiguous to that. In fact, that's what it looks like. This area here is what you've already approved, and this. So this piece got left out. P&Z heard it last Monday evening. They approved it, I believe, unanimously. One person spoke in favor, 2 spoke against. P&Z and staff recommend approval.
I have a quick question. The property which is behind 1160, the yellow markings, is that still part of the property or is that not? This portion of it, right here,
Oh, this
right where you, yeah.
L-shaped piece? I don't think so.
That's my property, and I'm
Yeah.
Okay, that's your property. Okay, got it. Thank you. All right, so the public hearing is now open. Anyone wanting to address for or against, please come forward, write your name and address for the record. If the,
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Chad Stevens, 3935 Miranda Drive, and I'm here to speak in for getting the property rezoned. It was our understanding and our intent when we first started off, and of course, a lot of the debate that we had in the first plan and zoning, the first council meeting pertained to this house. And we believe by removing the house, it's going to help the aesthetics of the neighborhood, beautify it, and also enhance the safety because of the visibility and so forth and the setback. And also that particular area is going to be professionally landscaped and be part of the overall project. And it was an oversight that we found out the day after the plan and zoning that the house was not included in the legal description, and so therefore that's why we're here tonight. But we were all under the impression, and part of the presentation and argument was that piece of the property. The main part was 12.55 acres, and with the house included, it was 12.84 acres, which was referenced several times in the first plan and zoning council meeting.
thank you, Mr. Stevens.
Thank you.
I just have a question of that gentleman. Do you own 1130 or 1140? Is that how you access your property in the back?
Sir, I own the property back behind 1160, which if this is changed over, converted or whatever, I own
Anyway, thank you, Mr. Stevens. Do you want to address or you do not? Okay.
I have a comment about that. The piece that is
Would you
behind-
let him explain first and then you can come
Sure.
back?
I'm Cecil Ballard, resident of 1130 20th. This goes back quite a while back before the contract was set up with buyers. I was trying to buy this lot in question so that I could keep the L shape, which I bought prior to any land deals, was going to make single house development back there, bring some tax dollars into the city. It's landlocked until somebody can do something like that. So I was going to offer a hefty, I know the big acreage went for about $110,000 roughly, and I was offering for that little spot something to rectify the problem of that land being landlocked. If I sell it to anyone, nobody can do anything with it. So I'm proposing to keep the front part single house development. We talk about the only thing that can be done there in multi-house development is to potentially just have curb appeal. It's too small of an area to project a roadway or anything over onto that piece of property or any multi-house development. It's single house development. It's already been established, new roofs on, and I'm proposed to offer handsomely a price for it, but for some reason they want to now after, and this was not overlooked. I beg to differ on that. It was to get the big piece of the pie and get that passed through city council and then attempt to landlock me in to where I will sell my L shape to a much lower price because now I'm landlocked and can't utilize what my dreams were. And I believe everybody has a right to protect their dreams. And that was single house development. When I bought the L property, I talked to Chad about buying that lot. He was in kind of an agreement on possibly trying to do something there, but then he got a big offer for $110,000 or so for 12 and a half acres, which they're not going to do any type of development up there. As far as what I've seen on the property up there, you can look, multi-house development's going to be on the far end of the 12 acres, nowhere close to us. But they want to encompass and block me in out strategically to get me to sell for pennies on a dollar. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to ever sell. I will, however, be more generous and propose and this is what I asked last week, if we could round table this to next month to give me opportunities to deal with this. We're talking, even if I just bought the property alone, it would bring a handsome amount of tax dollars to the city, even if we just tore the house down and put another single house home there. Those are tax dollars. Please listen to me on this. If we turn that over to multi-house development, that's going to block at least 4 properties from going single house development. Okay? I have money to do this. I have money to offer for that other property if the other developer decides he don't want it. All these things have been offered to Chad. Now they're coming in, and it was not oversight in any way or means. It is being painted up that way, and it's been put in the newspaper yesterday that way. But I talked to the news people, and I let them know this was not an oversight by any means, and everyone knew what they were doing. They passed the multi-house development for the 12 and a half acres and thought they'd get another piece of the pie, block me out, and now try to buy me out on the L shape to invest to make even more multi-house development. I have dreams too. I bought the house at 1130 for my father. We can't even back out of the drive. I wanted to take the L shape, and Chad, my offer is still fantastic. Even if you could possibly talk to the other people that have a contract. For one little small tiny piece of property out of the 13 acres, I'm offering at least 20% of what they're paying you for the whole 12 or 13 acres. I don't want to be landlocked. I'll do whatever it takes. And y'all will be sick and tired of me because it's my dream to put multi-house development. I was born here, not like landowners coming in to make money and pay contractors to make money. I want to develop that for single house development. It's already there. I'll put the street curb appeal for y'all. That's all they're offering is curb appeal on that piece of property. No tax revenue for the city of Paris. I want to put single house back. The house is already there. That's why they kept it out. They did not want to mud the deal up with the 12 acres. And now even people on the zoning commission gives me an approach to, why don't you just sell it? Sell it to them. Sell it to them. Sell my deal to them. I was there first. And I'm begging y'all to not turn it into, what they're going to do to that, they can keep it at single home development as well. If all they're going to do is put flowers in a flower bed, I can do that plus put a house there, okay? Because it's single house development still. I'm begging y'all, don't ruin my life and my family's lives. We were there way early. And I am willing, as soon as I buy the land, that's going to put a lot more taxes instead of a bed of flowers, okay? And then I'm going to redo the house or put a 2-story or whatever. Plus that will open up the L shape. If y'all change this to multi-house, they know they've got the L block completely blocked. I will never ever be able to do anything with it. Y'all will never ever get tax dollars off of it. That was brought up last week. I asked the round table this. One person nudges and looks at everybody else and they just, all right, let's roll this on through city council. So that's happened already to me twice. I'm begging y'all to treat me fair on this.
Thank you, sir. Do any of the council members have any questions of him? I do have a question. Nobody does?
I do, Doctor.
You do. Go ahead.
How long have you lived there, sir?
About 1.5 years, somewhere around in there. My whole family comes and visits me. I travel as well. And our whole dream, Miss Long is very sick. She's my next door neighbor, that they're going to put the flower bed right up against her wall of her house.
Well, this property, I believe, has been open like that for about, 30 years or more? It looks like that maybe you could have done this sooner.
I've been dealing with Chad on it, but he wanted to get some offers, and he did get some offers, and I don't know all the logistics of it, but we have been begging that house to be either renovated, torn down, or fixed to make the neighborhood nicer. Okay, we didn't ask for the house to be just tore down and nothing else put there. That's just taken away from, we're talking about streets and roads that we're trying to keep up, and we don't have the tax dollars in our system right now. Why would we not, just for curb appeal, why would we knock down the opportunity to put 4 single house homes there, nice house homes? They may have some money for the $5 million that they're paying to put an apartment complex in. Well, I have a little money too. I can build some very nice single house developed homes, and I can offer them enough money that they wouldn't have a problem, I don't think. But if they're just trying to squeeze me out and landlock me, which they've already been coming to my house asking me to sell, okay? This is what's been going on. They're going house to house. And now, you know what they're asking? Pennies on the dollars to run us out. They don't want to pay us for what we're worth.
All right.
Well, knowing the Stevens family, I'll have to go along with them. I've known Jerry Bob, I've known Chad and him as they were kids.
Yes, sir.
And I don't think they're unethical like that. Thank you.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. But and I hope, just like the Reverend said earlier, I hope God puts a conviction on each of our council members. I believe y'all are very loyal people, and I cherish y'all's jobs. I had a job very similar to what y'all do.
I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Explain to me, right now you own 1130?
Yes, sir.
You do not own 1160?
That's true. I own everything behind it, which is only 25
I realize,
feet
but
behind.
just bear with me for the question.
Yes, sir.
You own 1130, correct?
Yes, sir.
You don't own 1160?
I own what is behind 1160.
You do not own 1160, is that correct?
That is correct, sir.
Okay. explain to me, how are you going to, even if it is not done by the council, how are you not locked in? You're still locked in, because if they decide, I mean, it's their property, and if they decide not to sell it to you, what difference does it make to you? Because the thing is, 1160 is sitting in front of your property. They're not selling it to you. So I have a hard time understanding not changing it. How does it change the landlock issue? You're locked one way or another, other than going into through 1130.
My counsel has consulted me on that. And what we're proposing to do in the near future is, if for some reason, and I really don't understand what a bed of flowers will really cost, and I don't know how important that little 50 feet by 100 feet is, but the price I'm willing to offer them for it, I could hardly imagine they would not take it. On the other hand, if they do not give in to me, or work a deal, or we work some type of situation out to resolve this whole thing, for everybody can be happy. First of all, I'm going to be their neighbor for the rest of my life. So good neighbors are good to have. Second of all, if that doesn't transpire, that land, unless I do something real dramatic, like tear my house down, that would be about the only way I can get to the back, to get to my property. But when I bought it and I invested in this, there was no talking about this multi-house development stuff going on. And/or when I was talking to Chad, there was no talking about turning that into multi-house development. I'd already purchased the L shape, knowing that this council was very close into protecting their citizens.
Sir,
I thought that would still be single house development, which it is today, unless y'all change it.
Yeah. So I'm still having a little hard time understanding that if that was not your property, and when you bought it, you knew that was not part of your property, you bought into a property which was landlocked to begin with.
Yes,
Right.
but a very strong possibility of making a deal. Me and Chad was still working deals out on that.
All right.
And so, with that said, what's it going to do?
Let me explain it to him. Okay.
I'll have to tear down my house to get to the landlocked property, but I have planned for multi-house, single house development on that. And move my family in there and other people in Paris. We need it more residential.
Mr. Montgomery, you want to address?
Yeah, he's my nephew, and I'm the one that started the whole thing. I feel responsible. I told him, I've been on that street 50 years, so it's not like I ain't lived here, and I have nothing against Mr. Stevens and them. They're good people. But I told him, I said, the person died across the street, if you buy that house, you can buy the lot behind it, and I've been to the city for a year on this house over here boarded up, and they said they can't do nothing unless they're dealing drugs there. I said, we're going to have to look at it from now on, I guess. So I told him to go ahead and buy that. And I thought, I'm sure Mr. Stevens would probably sell you that, because he's going to sell the other 12 acres for something else maybe later. And that's how we got to here. He knew nothing about, and I didn't know nothing about, they were going to rezone it or anything like that. And I told him to buy the house. And that's how we got this situation where he bought that land, and intentions of, he's pretty sure he could buy that house, because I know it's got to be mildewed inside and everything, because the windows, didn't have windows on it for 6 months, then they boarded it up for 6 months. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
The last thing I want to say is Chad started putting new roofs on, boarding up the windows, getting it ready. Me and him discussed things about refabricate the house. It was just 4 months ago, he was saying, 5 months ago, that house is worth a lot. We got a new roof on it. We're going to do something with it. I'm going to sell it. Well, I want to buy it. Well, let's see what we can work a deal on. So this has changed from being a pretty good, nice house and a new roof on to where people want to condemn it. And I personally think it needs a lot of rehab. I personally like to put a 2-story there or something similar to bring in tax dollars and bring in families.
Thank you very much.
Not everybody wants an apartment.
Mr. Tornado?
Mr. Godwin, approximately how much would this, if they built the apartments, the Stevens have it built, how much tax money would the city of Paris receive? Do you have any idea?
I don't, because it depends on the size and the value of the property.
Okay. That's what I wanted. Thank you.
Can I ask you this? will the same tax dollar be charged for that bed of flowers in that area as much as if you see where the multi-house development's going to be almost a couple of blocks away, way back into the other neighborhood? They're only using our land to drive in and out and change the traffic control. That's why we've got some other issues.
Excuse me, but I really don't think that bed of flowers is that important.
Excuse me?
I don't think, you keep talking about the bed of flowers, I don't think that's that important.
Well, that's what they said they were going to do.
Okay, sir, stop, please. Mr. Frierson has a
I
question.
do have a question, just real quick, so I can clear this up in my own mind. We're actually just talking about the rezoning that's gone through planning and zoning. I mean, the deal is not ours to criticize or be a
Yes.
part of. So my question, I guess, to the staff is, does this ultimately meet the criteria with future land use and all that good stuff?
It does, based on the rezoning that was already approved. Now, a month ago, that may or may not have been the case, but based on the fact that this other 12 acres plus or minus was approved, then it certainly does. And I would, kind of along those lines, would encourage the council or remind the council that financial aspects of zoning are not relevant legally. You can only base it on is it an appropriate use for that particular piece of property? And Planning and Zoning Commission and Allen Effersey both judged yes, based on the fact that 12 acres was already approved.
Okay. Thank you very much. Sir, unless you are going to say something new, go ahead. I'll allow that. But if you're going to...
I have a question
Okay,
for
go
you.
ahead.
With my property coming up so close, and I've dealt with land and development, there's really nothing else to put there, and they've even stated it'd be just curb appeal. Now, I asked you one last time, is curb appeal going to bring any tax dollars versus a single house home there? Why would y'all change it to multi-house if it's not going to do nothing but change the curb appeal?
And the city manager has just answered that question for
I'm
you.
sorry.
Zoning is not based, decisions on zoning are not based on financial gains or losses. Is that what you said?
Yes, sir.
Okay, if I happen to be able to persuade the other party into selling later, how difficult is it to take that piece back and put it back into single house development?
I'm going to stop this discussion. There's too much arbitrary things on it. We don't know whether the person's selling, not selling, and I think it's going way over what is required of the council at this point.
I understand that. It's just, this is not happening to the side of your house or the back of your house.
Sir, even if it was happening to the back of my house,
Yes, sir.
the rules are the same for me and for you. So it doesn't matter whose house it is.
Well, I will say this, and last thing I will say, it wouldn't even be at this city council meeting if a month and a half ago, everybody was against, except for one person. And when he asked for the vote, he made sure everybody understood he was voting to take it to city council. Why does it that 6 or 5 people can go nay and then it change after he makes his vote?
I cannot answer the
It wouldn't even
questions based
pass,
on other.
would not have even left the zoning commission.
I'm going to stop at this point, please. Thank you.
It changes my whole life and my family's. Well, yeah. It's all about
Mr.
the
Stevens, this is a public hearing, so you can speak to your heart's desire, but I limit it to whatever is absolutely necessary.
Yeah, here's my listing agreement and the MLS sheet and the contract. It all has 12.84 acres, which the large tract is 12.55. And of course, we discussed this in the plan and zoning and the council meeting prior to. There, as council member or committee member Barney Bray pointed out, that this property is not landlocked, and me being in the appraisal and real estate business know that that's not landlocked. He can access it through that land where his house is. Now, he acquired this land behind our land about 6 months ago. He acquired the house at 1130 about a year and a half ago, and my parents have owned this land for 43 years. And so him being first, and also I mentioned to a few people that we would be interested in buying a lot or 2 lots, 2 houses down south of the property where the church is. so that we could also have an ingress and egress there as well. But I have not talked to Mr. Ballard or anybody for that matter about trying to buy their property for pennies on the dollar. I'm not interested in buying the property. The developer wanted me to go around and see if they could acquire another property so that they could, increase increase the safety aspect of it. So that's what I'm doing. And they're willing to pay fair market value. They're not going to pay double the money for what it's worth, but they're not trying to rip anybody off by any means. Matter of fact, what we'll do, if we can come to an agreement with someone, we would have it based off of an independent third-party real estate appraisal so that we're given fair market value.
I really think that's beyond the prerogative. That's your personal dealings. I don't think the council's interested in knowing how you want to approach that. So with that said, I'm going to stop this. If there's nobody else wanting to speak, sure, go right ahead.
I forgot to mention that a lot of folks over in Hillcrest wanted me to mention that at the meeting when we quit that time, that I know it was already passed, and that's fine, but they wanted the city council to get something in writing. We know we have water issues on 20th. We know we have water issues in Hillcrest. But if like Chad said, he's being forward. He said once he sells it, he can't dictate to the owner what to do. So is there any way if the city might get some kind of protection for the city and get some protection for the Hillcrest and 20th, that we don't take any more water on that we're already taking?
And I'm going to answer that for Mr. Godwin because I think it will not pass without those regulations that we have already discussed it last time, that they will be allowed to do that only after it passes through planning and zoning and through the city to make sure that there's adequate drainage there.
Okay, that's what they just wanted to make sure we was on the same page.
Yeah, and I think that was mentioned last time when we passed it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah. Any of the council members have any further questions on this item? Mr. Frierson, you wanted to say something?
I've already asked my questions.
Okay.
Does this meet the legal requirements?
Okay. All right. Mr. Godwin, anything further you want to add? How does the council want to proceed with it?
I make a motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the motion carries. Item number 8.
I oppose it. I opposed it in the beginning, and I still oppose it.
Okay, I'm sorry. So 6 for, 1 against. Item number 18 is receive presentation for Salem Clark regarding a tax credit for a housing project. Discuss and act on a resolution in support of for the housing tax credit application of SCF Paris 17 LP to the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs for 2017 competitive 9% housing tax credit to develop affordable rental housing and proposed development of West Wind of Paris to be located at 4800 Highway 82, Paris, Texas. I think you came last time and presented it. Is it the same project or is it any? Okay,
It has a new name, but it's the one that was approved last year by us, not by the state. Yeah, just the arrows. Absolutely. Just if you break it, then you get told no.
If I can make a request for you, please make it short and sweet. Yeah.
Yes, sir. My name's Kelly Garrett. Some of y'all might remember me from last year. I see we have 2 new council members.
In the mic, please.
I see we have 2 new council members, but I'll make it short and sweet. What we're trying to do here is build an apartment property. Like I said, my name's Kelly Garrett. I've been a real estate developer for 25 years. My home office is located in Greenville. I'm the founder and owner of Salem Clark, which we've just rebranded. Last year I was here at State Street Housing, and we have stopped developing that company. My business partner chose that he wants to stop, and I want to go forward. So I still own those properties, still going to be maintaining those properties. We have over 1,000 units that we've put in this program. And there's our development team, which I know that doesn't interest many of y'all, but I also own a construction company. I do my own construction. The architect I've been using for 8 years. My civil engineer, I'll use a local civil engineer because they should be familiar with the city and how the city operates, and I'll be looking for Mr. Godwin for some advice on that. My attorney's been my attorney for 26 years, and our property management manages all of our properties. They manage over 20,000 units in Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana. That's our footprint of what we have now. We have 11 existing properties. Like I said, it's over 1,100 units. The green dot's my home office in Greenville, and the star, of course, is Paris, Texas, where we're proposing to do this. That's our location. We're on 82, on the north side of 82, east of the Loop. That zooms us in a little bit more. It's a 5-acre tract that we have under contract from the Lewis Brothers. There's our site plan. If you can, it's turned the wrong way, but that's the only way we could get it on there. We're going to enter off of Lamar, and we're going to be 5 buildings, swimming pool, gazebo, clubhouse, and a detention pond at the back to trap our own water. The development will be 80 units of new construction. We're going to target families and seniors that are in the Paris area. There'll be a mix of market rate and affordable units, which I'll touch on in just a minute. In fact, we're 25% market rate. We'll be 1, 2, and 3 bedrooms. Like I said, the property is located 4800 Lamar Avenue. And like all our other properties, we're going to build a Class A property, which I can show you photos of them in just a second. Our total development cost will be $11.7 million we'll be putting on tax rolls in Paris, Texas. We don't ask for any property abatements or any special treatments on taxes. That's clubhouse and amenities of some of our existing properties. We'll use a large pool, perimeter fencing, access control gates. We like to put fitness centers and community rooms in all of our properties. Business centers, garages, playgrounds, gazebos, barbecue, picnic tables, that type of thing. And interior units have crown moldings, vinyl plank flooring. We put a washer and dryer in every unit, so we don't have a community laundry on the site. Every unit has their own washer and dryer that's supplied by us. Of course, Energy Star appliances, dishwashers, patios, 14 SEER air conditioning units, and all the latest and greatest plumbing fixtures, which they're making us use less and less water every year, and we try to comply. In some of our affordable units, we're doing what's called LIHTC units through the Affordable Housing Program in the state of Texas. It's part of the Section 42 of the IRS code, where we compete for these tax credits, and that's exactly what I'm doing tonight is I'm competing. But we'll have after-school tutoring and social events, arts and crafts, and all that type of things for the residents. We supply these programs for the residents as part of our agreement with the state of Texas. The incomes and rents of the operations, West Wind of Paris is designed to offer affordable rents for working individuals, families, and seniors, and it'll be a Class A property. Our intended residents are already a key part of the city's workforce. It's people that are already living here. The area median income in Lamar County is $51,900. This property on our affordable units will be for families making 60% or less of the area median income. Families
Mr.
earning
Chair, can I stop you for one
Yes,
second?
sir.
Do any of the council members have any specific questions about this project? Ms. Drake?
No, I'm sorry.
Mr. Frierson?
No, I'm familiar from last time.
What percent would be the lower income rates, the reduced market rates? And what percent would be full market rate?
Market rate's going to be 25%, and 75% will be the affordable rates, which I've listed on that list. You can see
And the properties that you listed, are these all the 9% tax credit properties, or all of them, or are they a mixture of other
all that
types?
I showed you.
Yeah.
They're all just like this. They're all part of the affordable housing program,
Okay.
and some of those are 100% affordable that you saw, and some of them are 25%, which this one's going to be. 25% market rate, 75% affordable. And I'll move right along.
One second. Do any of the other council members have any questions about it?
No, sir.
Okay, how does the council want to proceed with it? Does anyone have, we approved it last time, does anyone have any objections to it? Okay, I'll take a motion.
Second you.
All in favor? Motion is to approve it, I take it, right?
Right, yes.
All in favor? Anyone opposed? Ms. Drake, you're sitting quietly.
I don't feel real well tonight. I said okay.
Okay.
I said yes.
Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Item number 19 is discuss and act on a resolution calling a special bond election for May 6, 2017. Janice?
I think Mr. Godwin.
Oh, Mr. Godwin wants.
I guess, well, the bond election, the only thing that we really need to decide, unless you've changed your mind since 3 weeks ago, I assume you have not, is do you want to have one proposition for just streets, or do you want to add the smaller proposition for parks? The way the proposition, the language was written was so that you could have the $500,000 for parks and $9.5 million for streets. It needs to be 2 propositions from what our bond attorney tells us. So beyond that, we can change this proposition. You can approve it and amend it at the same time, or you can approve it as is.
Ms. Drake.
I just have a quick question. If we go ahead and approve it tonight, are we absolutely locked into the way we're going to do the streets, or can that be looked at?
No, ma'am. In fact, we always recommend that you do not include specific streets or projects within the within the ballot language.
Right.
Because if you do that, that means unless we are incredibly good and we guess every estimate exactly right, you're going to have some left over. You're not going to have enough. So with this kind of language, you can change in fact, we would encourage you at some point to kind of discuss the projects a little more than we have so far, to change the order, add some, delete some, and that can even happen after the election. You try not to do that because you don't want people to think you pulled a fast one on them, but legally you could even do that. But yes, that was too long of an answer. Yes, you certainly may.
Mr. Frierson?
Oh, no, that was my question is, the exact way we're going to go about the project with the materials and all of that, we can change that. We're not locked into a specific way to redo these streets, whatever we choose to do.
Correct. Again, the only thing that you want to be careful of is, and for those of you that have gone through a bond election before in 2013, reminds you that we're not allowed to spend any public funding to promote a yes or a no vote. We do kind of have an obligation to educate folks.
Well,
and part of that education, if you say, we're going to do this and this and this, and then you do it differently, you've not misled anybody on purpose, but you want to be consistent for that reason.
Concerns about how much, like, 33rd was going to cost. Could we not do it a different way and do it cheaper?
Yeah, and that's for another meeting, but
Right,
that's an
and
example.
that's what I wanted just to
You're going
make
to hear us
sure.
say, don't do that, because that's the problem with 33rd Street to begin with, is it wasn't built correctly when they built it the first time. And that's kind of our history here, so.
I think the bottom line answer is we are just taking the bond for approval of the funds. How, what, where, and what materials
Well,
is not part
yeah,
of this.
And my thing is, I do not want the parks, I don't want one proposition. That's my opinion.
And you don't want parks included.
Well, 2 propositions is fine. I don't want it as one in the parks and the streets,
Okay.
all lumped together.
Okay.
I think people should have a
Yeah,
a
and
say.
in fact, you cannot do that, as it
Okay.
turns out. They've changed the rules the last few
Okay.
years.
Okay, that's me.
Mr. Frierson.
Well, Cleon took the wind out of my sails. That was actually
Sorry.
a lot. No, that's fine. Actually, thank you for doing it. I've actually had a lot of calls about this, and it's not necessarily should we take it to a vote as much as it is, let's make sure our I's are dotted and T's are crossed on the actual project scope. So if it's not a matter of assuming the projects this evening, then I'm okay with moving forward on the election itself.
Yeah, I have a question. We have the choice between putting Proposition 1 and Proposition 2, both on the ballot. What's the alternative?
Is the whole 10 million just for streets?
Just for, okay, so that
Correct.
would be the choice, okay.
Mr. Trinado.
Okay, I'd like to see it done just for the streets, but I just got some questions, and I've gotten calls too. Okay, who estimated how much these streets would cost?
For the most part, it was the city engineer using costs from other projects that we've done and
Okay.
other people have done.
Okay, now, some of these streets are targeted to be torn up, right?
Correct.
Okay, I've heard about, what is mill and overlaid? Can a street be done that instead of just tearing the whole thing up if it?
Correct. And I don't recall, because I don't have the list now, there's about 5 or 6 on this list that are mill and overlay. And that's, if you recall, that's how we did collegiate last spring.
Yeah.
You actually kind of grind it up, mill it up.
Yeah,
And then you use that same material again.
Mhm.
It's cheaper and it's a lot faster. So every road that we can do that on, we will do that on. Unfortunately, we have some streets in town, 8th Street is an example, as we've dug it up for water and sewer lines, there's nothing there but clay
Right,
underneath.
I know that,
And
yeah.
that'll have to be a real one. So we will always do that when we can, because otherwise it's just a waste of money.
Okay, let me see. Okay, by any chance, have you called any of the local contractors in that do this work and just had like a conference with them? Like, how much would you charge, or what do you think?
No, we felt like that'd be premature. Council hasn't taken any action yet. And then, of course, the roads haven't been designed yet either, so it'd be hard for them to give us a really accurate estimate because they don't know, is it going to have drainage, is it going to have sidewalks, is it going to have
Right.
this or that, and so forth.
Okay, well, will you do that, or just how would it go about it?
Yeah, I don't know. We don't typically get estimates from vendors
Right.
ahead of time because it might skew bids. All these have to be competitively bid, and the people that we would ask would probably be ones that would be bidding on it. We don't want to skew those bids.
Yeah, right, I can see, but maybe they come from add some advice of how it should be done or whatever, but that's what I was getting at. Okay, and only thing is, and also, I just would like the job to be done correctly so that, in 4 or 5 years. Oh, another thing, somebody brought this up. Those manhole covers, like in the middle of the roads, there's one in, I think by Liberty Bank, by Brookshire's. Can those be brought up to the level with the street? Because, man, you hit them things, it's just bang.
Yeah, yes, they can be, and that would be the goal, at least when the road is brand new, to do that. What happens over the years is you get more and more layers.
Right, yeah.
And that utility stays in the same place. That's why it gets lower and lower and lower.
Okay, well, that's all I need, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm ready to move forward with it.
I'm in favor of it. All of my questions have been answered.
Okay. Mr. Frierson, you're looking some.
No, I'm just listening to see what the motion's going to be as far as one proposition or two.
Well, you want to make a proposition?
Well, I'm sitting here quietly.
Okay, I'll say my personal feeling is we make 2 propositions. And because some of us want streets done, some of us want park done, and some of us want both of the things done. But I think ultimately when we are giving the choice to the people, then I think it should be people's choice of what they want to pay for and what they don't want to pay for. So my idea would be to have 2 propositions, a separate proposition for the street and a separate proposition for the parks.
And I don't mean to shoot in here, but it's last minute with an advertisement for parks, but we haven't really talked about parks. Besides the obvious that parks are getting old and worn out, we have more and more equipment that we inspect on an annual basis that we're having to take out of service because it doesn't meet standards. So when you go to a lot of the parks and you see there's just a blank there, it's not that we forgot to put it back. It's not safe to use, and so more and more pieces we're having to take out. So it's getting pretty bad. Again, it's hard to judge between streets and parks, but that's the reason parks really came up.
And I'm all for beautification, but the thing is, I think the city needs a lot of other things before we start beautifying too. So, I mean, that's just a personal feeling that I have, that it should be 2 propositions and let people decide and people may decide that they don't want anything done. I mean, so who knows? But I would favor 2 propositions. So, yes.
Are you through? Are you finished talking?
Yeah.
Okay, I need to ask another question. Okay, the roads are being like repaired, like you might have 40 or 50 foot, like that.
Hmm.
And of course, I've traveled these streets, looks like where they're done, they kind of sink.
Yeah, in a lot of cases, that's because there's not a sufficient subgrade, and those are the kinds of things we're trying to correct. If you've got a soft place here and a hard place
Right.
here, and you put beautiful asphalt over it, the asphalt's not going to last very long. And those are the kinds of things and sometimes if you look at a road on a list, like, man, it looks really great. Well, it doesn't look great underneath. And our guys that are out there working in it and digging in it and patching
Yeah, I
potholes
see
and
it.
looking at work orders, they'll know which ones are really bad. Kind of like we did with water and sewer. The people out there in the field, they know which ones are the really bad
Right.
ones.
Okay.
Long term.
Answer me.
All right. If nobody has any other questions, I'll make a proposition. I'll make a motion. Sorry, not a proposition.
You can't do that.
I'll make a motion that it be 2 items on the agenda and the council be brought back with the verbiage of.
Okay, now it's in your packet.
Yeah.
Well, I read it and I didn't see it in the packet.
Proposition 1 and Proposition 2.
Yeah.
It's on page, I don't know.
Page 94.
Yeah,
I'd like to read it again then, because if I've missed it, then.
it's on page 94.
Can I ask another question?
Go right ahead.
Okay, Mr. Godwin, we got these estimates here, and there's probably gonna be money left over. Will that go into other projects or general fund, or what would be used?
Well, in this case, I think we've got a list of what we think is probably around 17 million. So you're going to have not nearly enough money to do all of them.
Right, I understand.
If you had some money left over, then you can add new projects to that. And you could take some of these off and add new ones in. Again, there's a lot of flexibility other than at some point, you want to have a pretty solid list because you don't want people to say, well, I voted for it because I thought you were going to do X street, and then you change your minds. And so that's, before the election, you need to have them pretty solid. But
Okay.
between now and then, you've got time.
Thank you.
I'm perfectly fine with it.
Me too.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Anyone opposed? No, the motion carries. All right, let's get back to our agenda. Item 20, discuss and act on a resolution contracting for election services with Lamar County Election Administrator. Janice, standard?
This is our standard contract with the County Elections Administrator. The estimate for citywide election is right at $10,300.
Anyone has any questions, concerns? No? I'll take a motion on the item.
I make a motion.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. Item number 21, discuss and act on penalties applied to First National Bank Building, 104 Bonham Street. I'm the one who put this item on the agenda, and I just wanted a little input from the council and see what they want to do with it. I think Mr. Elrad has had quite a bit of fines placed on his building. I do feel that we did not provide him adequate coverage when these fines were done. And so my feeling is that we are more interested in the safety of our residents. And if the council and the attorney feels it's appropriate to write off those charges, those fines which have been incurred till now, and then moving forward, since we have provided him adequate requirements of what he wanted to do, if the Buildings and Standards Commission fines him further after that, then to leave those fines up to them and then they can apply. But for the time being, since there were some other extenuating circumstances that the work could not be started, I would favor personally that his fines be written off and then he use that money to fix the building more than anything else. Now, having said that, I do want a clarification. Is the electric off now?
No.
Why not?
We don't know if there's a problem with Encore or with the retail electric provider to Metro PCS T-Mobile. There's confusion about that. I've been trying to work all the traps and get that, make sure that gets turned off for about a week. I've got both the T-Mobile lawyer and the Encore lawyer trying to determine where the holdup is on that. But Encore locally says they've never received an order. T-Mobile says they've put one in. So.
Well, the order was from the city to turn it off.
Correct.
So why are we waiting for a T-Mobile order?
Because what Encore is saying now is that they don't find an emergency and they're waiting for the retail customer.
It's not a question of emergency anymore.
And that's why they say they can't turn it off.
Well, we gave them an order to turn it off.
Well,
who are they to determine whether it's the council, 7 members of the council decided, or 6 members, maybe Mr. Frierson might not have been here that day, but they decided that there was an urgent issue. We gave an order, and they don't take our order seriously enough that they think that it's a stupid order or something?
apparently they do not agree with the assessment of the emergency.
They are not the ones to agree or disagree. This is an order from the council. Other orders of the council are not followed either then?
Well, I'm not quite sure what to tell you about that, although, going back to the lawsuit and the resolution before it went to a hearing on the TRO, we all thought it was going to be a matter of a few days before that power got off. I think it's just a miscommunication somewhere. I really think it's going to be off within a few days to a week.
I still do not understand why, when an order is given by the council to turn off electricity immediately, why do you think it's going to be a week before? 3 weeks have gone by, and why another week? I can understand it being held when the TRO was given, because that was a judge's decision. But once that is, the order was issued that evening.
And the owner.
The owner.
The council found there was an emergency.
Uh-huh.
Then
Encore disagrees with whether or not there's emergency. I think probably if the council wants to enforce that order, we would have to sue Encore. I mean, it's not a self-executing kind of order.
What do you have to say about it? Because this
Only
is
that-
beyond my understanding to know that we have issued an order and Encore doesn't want to comply with the orders when they have no business in it?
That's correct. Encore said no. They told me no, they told the city
So
attorney no.
did you tell them that it'll be, if this building falls down tomorrow,
Told them that many times.
that it'll be their responsibility?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we need to call some of the council members, if they want to meet. I would certainly like to meet the Encore people and see what is their issue. If others want to join in, more than happily.
Stephanie, did they give a basis for saying that it's not an emergency?
They did not give a basis. I mean, what the lawyer's email to me was that in the absence of an emergency, Encore can't cut the power based on the city's unilateral request to do so. It has to come from the utility. The customer has to make the request to their retail provider, who
Right.
then gives the order to Encore. And reading between the lines, to me, that is a statement that that they don't agree that it's an emergency and they're not going to abide by the order.
But that's not what they said. Are you reading between the lines, or did they say that? I mean, they're two.
Sir, but what they said was, we need a request from the customer to their retail utility provider, who will pass that on to us, without just them cutting off the power,
So-
without that.
So this becomes a private property issue, for lack of
Yes.
a better term. So, like, thankfully, the city couldn't come and turn my electricity off because 6 people don't like me up here.
No, but that's not what it is.
I'm
Because-
just saying in their eyes, though. So I guess my question.
No, but Mr. Friesen, there's a little difference here. There's a letter issued by a certified engineer that the building is unsafe.
Right.
And based on that, the council decides. Who is Encore to decide whether this is an emergency or not? This is an emergency which has been declared by a person who specifically was hired to determine whether it's unsafe or not. So, I mean,
So
personally, I think we need to have a meeting with them. That's what I would do.
has anyone talked to the property owner about this? Mr. Allred, about asking
Yes.
him to make the
Yes.
request?
Well, I don't think he can do that, but please understand, I'm talking with these people 3 or 4 times a week. I'm exchanging emails with them every day. We're trying to work through this problem, and I think it can be resolved
Okay.
in terms of getting the power off within a few days, unless there's something going on with T-Mobile that they're not telling me.
Okay.
Okay, we've completely went off the topic now, which was penalties. So I'll go back to the topic first, but I think I want to put this back. This item needs to come back on the agenda to discuss if this electric is not turned off, or we need to send a notice about it. But we'll discuss that since this is not part of this. We kind of went on. So anyway, my suggestion was that if the council feels appropriate, since we had not provided adequate support at that point, that those fines be written off. But anyway, however the council wants to decide. Ms. Drake?
So if we want, let me,
So what I want suggesting is that up until now, he's being fined every day.
Right.
So write off those fines, let him keep the money and fix the building, which is far more important than us collecting fines. But here onwards, once he's been provided that thing which he was concerned about, that the electric is on, which is apparently still on, but once that is off, from then onwards, it's Mr. Allred's responsibility to fix the building.
so it's.
And so if there are future signs imposed on him, then that's his responsibility.
That was my question. Okay.
Yes, no, have any opinion?
Well, I'm thinking.
Oh, you're thinking, okay.
Yeah,
Mr.
that was
Friesen?
my question I had. You answered my question.
I mean, the spirit of your comment I appreciate, but I guess I kind of look back for, John, how long have you been dealing with this issue?
6, 8 months. It's a while.
And you just sort of stalemated out for no, I mean, not for no reason. I don't mean to say it that way, but the issue is not a new one. And building and standards, and everybody felt strongly that clear violations of what needed to happen, right?
That's my understanding, yes. Now, are you going to talk about?
Well, I have some suggestions, if this is what you want to do, about procedurally how the best way to go about that is. I mean, the city council, the already accrued fines are a debt to the city. And the city council, and only the city council, has the authority to forgive that debt if the city council finds it's for a public purpose. That public purpose may very well be to free up funds to repair this building because it's a public safety hazard and it's for the health and safety of the citizens, as well as to help preserve a historical and important landmark for the city of Paris. But you'd have to find that public purpose, and you can do that. In terms of fines that are continuing to accrue, I think that is the province of the Building Standards Commission, because it's their order that they issued. You know, you could ask them if they would consider rescinding that order or issuing a new order that suspends the accrual of fines, if that's what you want to do going forward, with the understanding that they could always bring it back for a new order at a future date. But if that's what you want to do, I would suggest that you let the Building Standards Commission consider that first, and then come back, and you're only forgiving accrued fines once instead of whatever, if you did it tonight, and then fines continue to accrue up until Building and Standards Commission meets again.
I think this entire discussion is showing how complicated this situation is and how there's been two sides to this all the time. And I like to put myself in Mr. Allerid's position that he wants to fix the building too. He didn't think he could. And in response, the city slaps fines on him daily, fine. This is a very complicated situation, but I think the least we should do is to get rid of these fines and then and get the power cut off and then let him fix the building. I just don't understand why we've gone this far with this, because the power should have been cut months ago. That's my problem with this. But I think moving forward, we need to the power needs to be cut immediately, and we need to immediately tell him the power is now cut, fix the building, and in a timely fashion, and if he doesn't, we start reapplying the fines. But no, I don't have a problem with doing it twice. I think we should do it as to show our good faith toward him to go ahead and relieve these fines now, and if some more fines accrue, we can relieve them at a later date. That's my feeling on it.
Mr. Trinado?
Well, what's been said, I agree with Mr. Firestone and Steve, and it's gone a long way. I think we ought to give him a break, and let's just work together and get this accomplished. If that helps him for his goal, it'll help the city.
Mr. Jenkins?
I'm okay rescinding the fines that we have got going on right now and go forward after that.
Ms. Lancaster?
Well, I'm not opposed to rescinding the fines, but I am stunned that it is an emergency situation that's gone on for months. This should never, in an emergency situation, surely we can do better than this. We've got to be able to act quickly. 4 months and a wall's going to fall? I'm just surprised that we can't act faster than that.
So
we lost.
What happened to the mayor?
I
don't know. He took
There you
off.
go.
I spilled some Coke.
Oh, don't worry about it.
So Stephanie, are we in danger of setting a precedent moving forward?
Well, in every case, you may not have a public purpose. You may have a situation where there's something that there's no, for demolition, for example, and there's no public purpose to be served for lifting those penalties, because, we're not asking somebody to repair the building that's way past that. So that's not, situations can be unique. But, you will hear it again in a like situation, so.
Right.
I'd like to make a motion to rescind the penalties based on whatever legal way it is doable and which is acceptable, whether it is creating a public safety issue or whatever the suggestion of the city attorney is, but I'd like to make the motion to rescind him, let him fix the building.
I'll second you, Doctor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed?
Aye.
Mr. Frierson is opposed.
I'll be happy to prepare a resolution that does that,
I-
that has the requisite
Yeah, whatever
findings.
legally
And then do
required.
you also want to request the Building Standards Commission to rescind?
We'll send them a letter.
Okay.
And let them decide what they want to do.
Okay.
Item number 2, discuss, receive public input, and act on controlling of construction of new buildings or additions as related to drainage on adjacent properties. This should assure that such building is neither higher or lower than the neighborhood building or other structures. Ms. Lancaster, your item?
Yes, I became concerned, some recent events on other properties and some further, as I did some research, that this is not the only time this has happened. I put out for the public a copy of the floodplain, which shows that the city has considerable problems with directing water. And I think really careful looking at building of new buildings to make sure we don't add to this drainage problem, which we already have, and certainly the flood exercised a view of how bad it is. I just think we need to look carefully at how we place these buildings when new ones come in, and how they affect their neighbors, both commercial and residential.
Any suggestions?
Well, we certainly agree. We think we do now have procedures in place. That historically was not the case. And so we've got a lot of drainage problems that we've all inherited, but we believe that those situations are in place. And you do that largely through the site planning process, which is kind of what we talked about with these multifamily
right.
places. They have to prepare a site plan that's going to take care of drainage or flood water that's leaving that property.
Well, I knew I was running the risk of being a little redundant, but I think I'd rather err on caution.
It's a huge, important point, so it can never be talked about too many times.
Do you want to bring something specific with this, or?
I just think it needs to be included in any site plan, that the placement of a building has to take into consideration the buildings around it.
Absolutely. The elevations as well as
The elevations is-
retentions, ponds, drainage,
Absolutely.
et cetera. So.
Right. I mean, if you get a copy of this thing, we have an extensive problem. We inherited it. I mean, that's just the way the land was. But we certainly have to work in the best interest of every person who builds a house or builds a business, that they don't wind up getting dumped on with water, no matter where it is. I think it's a big concern.
Any comments from any of the council members? Any suggestions? All right, so Mr. Godwin, you look into it and get back to us.
Well, I'd like to pass something tonight.
Okay, well, go ahead. I don't think it's a motion item. Did you put it as a?
It's an act on.
It is,
Discuss
it's an
and
act.
receive public act.
And
Okay.
act.
All right, go ahead. Make the motion.
I make the motion that be one of the considerations on any site plan for a new building or a new home.
What exactly? Just specify, please.
Specify that the elevations be considered in any plans. I mean, when anybody applies to build a building, you make those considerations.
Ms. Lancaster, can I ask you a favor? Please just repeat your motion, what motion you want to make.
I want to make a motion that the elevations be considered in any site plan that is presented for building in the city of Paris.
Okay. Any second on this item?
I'll second it.
Yeah, discussion? Yeah, absolutely.
It's just before I vote on something, is this different than what you're already doing?
I don't think so. I think the point is they just want to emphasize that
Sure, and
because
that's-
historically it has not been done.
And that's totally fine. I
That
just wanted to make
and another
sure.
thing that goes along with this is with building permits, we've not historically done what are called form board surveys, so that the lot on a piece of paper may be okay, but when they actually come out and set the the forms for the foundations, sometimes those are 6 inches or 4 inches higher than they're supposed to be, and that can cause problems. So we're trying to correct that problem as well. So
Again,
I think we're fine, but it never hurts to go over it again.
and understand that point. Okay, thank you.
I have a question, if you don't. Is this going to make the building permit process worse than what it exists?
No.
Okay. That's another agenda item for next council meeting, so, but anyway.
But this is basically just reiterating an existing policy that.
It's putting it in writing.
And it's making emphasis on it. Is that
If there's no further discussion, I'll take a vote on the item. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, everyone's supporting the item, okay. Item number 23 is discuss and receive input from City Council with regards to trespassing at Lake Crook. Mr. Godwin's item, but me and him had discussed this a little bit, and this was with reference to a gentleman who had complained about being issued a trespassing whatever, citation or warning, whatever it was. And he came and met with me, and he met with Mr. Godwin, and he had some concerns, which is why this item was placed on the agenda. And certainly this item can be placed on the agenda again for further discussion at a future date. But there were some concerns raised, so everybody has heard it, but we'll hear it from Mr. Godwin now, what exactly is the situation.
Well, I won't add any much new. The situation is, I think, pretty much what the folks have explained. A significant portion of the lake is leased out. I think the lease was just renewed about a year and a half ago, something like that. To my knowledge, in the 4.5 years I've been here, there's been no, at least intentional violations of the lease. Those signs get knocked down or shot down or run over, that sort of thing happens. So there's some not in place. The other thing that coincidentally comes along with this is that we're encouraging people to use Lake Crook Park more and more and more. Well, the more and more we encourage people to use Lake Crook Park, and it's working, then the more you're going to have the potential for the archers and for these folks to wandering through the woods or walking down the trails to bump into each other. So one of the things we've considered doing is to try to meet with the archers, and we haven't met with them yet, but to amend the lease to kind of move them back a little bit. And I don't know if it's Section 8 or where 19th Street goes through. 19th Street, we're trying to make that a trail. It's about 1.5 miles long one way. It's a really nice trail so people can walk on there. We want to be able to walk safely, not get in their way and bother them. But so those kinds of things so that there's enough of a buffer between the two different kinds of uses. Certainly don't want to run them off. They've been there forever and done a great job as far as I've ever heard. But a buffer between the two of them, and also make sure all the required signage is in place.
Okay. I'll start with this if nobody has any objection. I would personally suggest that you have a meeting with archers and the other gentlemen together or separately, which way works best, and then come back to the city and tell us what have they decided and what are the pros and cons of this. That is my personal feeling. Ms. Drake.
Yeah, if we can work something out between all parties and bring it back, I'm all for that.
Mr. Frierson?
I mean, personally, just from what I know from hearing this evening, and it seems like this may or may not have been an isolated incident, so, you hate to jump the gun too much, but certainly if there's room for improvement or a middle ground that can be had, I think John would probably do a good job facilitating those conversations.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. A discussion would be a good idea, and making sure, obviously, the signage is up would be an obvious thing we need to do. But I think, get both parties together and see if we can work out an amicable solution and then bring it to us.
Mr. Tornado?
I thoroughly agree with what's been said.
Mr. Jenkins?
I agree.
Ms. Lancaster?
I think meetings would be good.
Okay. So, a suggestion from our side, meet with both the groups, and then you can come to a conclusion and then put the item as an agenda item which allows discussion so that both sides can say what they want to say.
Will do.
All right. Thank you very much. The time now is 6:59 p.m. We are going to convene into executive session pursuant to Section 551.074 of Texas Government Code to deliberate the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, disciplines, or dismissals of public officers or employees, or to hear complaint or charge against an officer or employee as follows: annual evaluation of city manager, annual evaluation of municipal judge, and annual evaluation of the city attorney. I had placed this item because this item is a standard item. There is nothing new about it. Once a year we have to evaluate those three positions, and so that's what we are going to do. So the time is 6:59 and we'll go into executive session. The time now is 7:24 PM and we are out of the executive session. We generally don't discuss personnel matters out in public, but I'll just simply say by telling everyone that the three people that were evaluated today were the city manager, municipal judge, and city attorney, and they all got good reviews, so, from all the council members. With that, we move to item number 26, which is consider approve future events for the city council. Two requests. One, for the next agenda, I do want the permitting issue on the agenda. Number two, I want a meeting set up with Encore. And yeah, and those are my two issues. If other members have any other,
I do know, do we need to, Thursday's meeting at Campbell Soup, there will be several of the council members that will be there?
It's been posted.
It's been
as a
posted, I
possible
just wanted to
quorum.
make sure.
Thank
Okay.
you.
This Thursday?
with that said, Mr. Frierson,
So move.
Second.
all in favor? All right. Thank you, everyone.